both of them as I played it twice, and they were fine. First off, gorgeous visuals. I was captivated by this sand surfing sequence. It makes me sad that I had to compress it into a 720p video on YouTube. And the music was remarkable in emphasizing what was happening on screen. I read that this score, composed by Austin Wintory, was nominated for a Grammy, and deservedly so. I nearly welled up by how beautiful it got at times. But remove the visuals and the score, and you're left with something I barely categorize as gameplay. I absorb pieces of cloth to make my scarf longer, which lets me jump higher and fly at points, and then I use my voice command to activate stuff so that I can move on to the next location. I surf here one time, I avoid tough winds here one time, and that's honestly about it. Yeah, there are other optional things to consider, like these glowing runes which unlock a white cloak for repeated playthroughs, and these wall panels that probably add some context to the world around you. Maybe, depends on how you look at things. None of it really changes anything in the grander scheme of things, it's just there for you to collect and perhaps a trophy. Journey has online multiplayer functionality where if you're signed into the network and play the game while someone else is doing the same, there's a chance you two can meet up and journey together. I don't think you can invite players, I think it's up to the game. Because I was jumping onto this train 3 years late, I thought I wasn't going to find anyone, but I was surprised to see some drifters here and there, and I think Journey is a better experience when you have other people to explore with. These faceless wanderers helped me find some glowing runes I didn't know about, and even an Easter egg here and there. If your name is up here, thanks for showing me a thing or two, it was quite nice. $15 though for a title that's more about how it makes you feel rather than getting enjoyment from what it offers in gameplay, I thought it should have been $10 at most. After you play it once, I don't think repeated visits will have the same impact as the first one, should Journey have made an impact on you at all. There's something to be said about how meeting someone online can make a second run interesting in its own right, but then you're back to the same problem once you finish that run. If you were looking for something that has more meat to it, and by that I mean physical meat, not philosophical meat, I'd say pass on this one. But if you're looking for an experience, I'd say go for it. Use a gift card, tax refund, wait for yourself, that should happen. Journey is a visual and auditory marvel, but not one I could recommend to a lot of people as a video game. Really, I think trying to recommend or not recommend Journey is more of a hassle than playing the game itself. It's all a matter of whether or not you're willing to burn a few bucks. Now here's the part where I ask for your recommendations on what sort of indie titles I should look at for this showcase. After the next review, I'll make a straw poll consisting of the most popular picks, and then I'll make reviews on the top 3 selections. I already have some titles picked for this marathon, but I won't disclose them because I like to keep you guys in suspense. Feel free to type something in the comments anyway, or pitch me a recommendation on my Twitter at somecallmejohn. So what's up next? Only something people have been clamoring for me to do before I even thought about doing a second indie showcase. And I'm guessing a lot of you probably already know what it is, so I'm gonna go get to work on that. Oh, fuck me.
Forces you to reboot your ventilation through no error of your own.
I consider FNAF 3 to be the most frustrating of the trilogy when you're just trying to complete the standard 5 nights. The second game was hard because of the dexterity it required the player to have to deal with all the shit coming at you. In FNAF 3, I feel you're doing a lot of waiting and praying. When something goes offline, you're completely helpless for about 6 seconds as you wait for the system to reboot, waiting even longer if more than one feature is disabled. And it's not as if you can prevent that from happening, it's inevitable. No matter how well you can spot Springtrap, no matter how well you can redirect him to another room, the game will force you to deal with the malfunctioning systems, kinda leaving it up to chance on whether Springtrap will make a dash towards the office or not. Combined with the hallucinations that can divert you, even when you just make a slight glance at them, and with how stubborn Springtrap can be with audio cues, there's no doubt you'll see the game over screen in FNAF 3 a hell of a lot of times. Also, maybe it's because we just finished playing the first 2 games, but FNAF 3 didn't feel as tense or intimidating as the previous entries.
Well, tension still rose high when we got closer to 6 a.m., but I think that because there's only one animatronic. You don't feel like you're in a greater sense of danger, even if this bunny bitch is quick on his feet. Honestly, we were more exasperated than scared with this one, especially after the 15th death on night 3.
We were seriously considering stopping at night 4 after Springtrap gave both of us so much shit, but after taking a break, we managed to pull through and complete the 5th night. We kinda did a relay system. I did night 2 and 4 while Elliot did night 3 and 5. We even did those hidden minigames that give you this sort of good ending.
Yes! Oh! Thank God!
Now, even though it clearly sounds like we're exhausted, this is merely a result of playing 3 games for one video. Yes, while I am personally bothered by how fast the sequels came out, the level of success that independent developer Scott Cawthon managed to achieve is awe-inspiring. I mean, before August of last year, who was Scott Cawthon? I'll tell you who he was the maker of this thing. But now look at him, creator of 3 hit titles that made a ton in sales, and now he's getting a movie deal with Warner Brothers based off the first game. That's living the dream right there, and if that doesn't make you want to give it a shot in life, then I honestly don't know what will. This man took something that didn't work and made it into something that did. That's how you do it, folks, and should you feel the need to give any of these games a try, the links to the Steam pages are in the description below. Mr. Coffin, a job well done. But it doesn't hurt to slow things down a bit. Last thing we need is the man burning out, and nobody wins when that happens. This trilogy is something else, I tell you. I've never felt so tense playing a game besides the first time I ever played Resident Evil 1. Buyer beware, you're in for a scare.
You totally took that from Goosebumps, you know.
No, that was reader beware, you're in for a scare. Remember Goosebumps?
It wasn't that long ago, dude.
I suppose not. Okay then, now that the FNAF trilogy is done with, let's get on with the rest of the indie showcase. I'm still trying to process the amount of comments you guys left on the Journey video, but I have enough to make that straw poll I talked about. Be on the lookout for that, as the top 3 picks of that poll will be games to look at during the showcase. As always, thank you guys for watching, have yourselves a great night, and here comes the jump scare! Nah, I'm kidding, it's just the credits.
No jump scares? Wait, you were serious? Man, well, rip off.
Do anything else, and there's not even an achievement for getting them all. Those seem to be all centered on the multiplayer stuff. Really, single player kind of feels like an afterthought. It only took me about an hour and a half to collect all the winged feet, complete all the virtual rooms, and finish the story, if you can even call it that, considering how little of it there is. This mode is there for you to enjoy, and there is enjoyment to be had trying to reach the end as fast as you can. But you kind of get the idea that they want you to get your jollies with multiplayer, or maybe the workshop. You can make your own level layouts if you're of the super creative type. They give you a bunch of tools so you can get the precision you need, so that's always nice. I'm the kind of guy that loves to see what other people can make because I'm sure as hell not a level designer. I'm also the kind of guy who enjoys a good multiplayer experience, and thankfully Speedrunners was there to provide. The goal in multiplayer is to simply outrace your opponent. If anyone should touch the edge of the camera or the borders, they're toast, and the level will continuously loop until only one player remains. It gets your blood running big time. You want to do what you can to stay ahead of the game, but if the other guys know what they're doing as well, you're in for the race of your life. Fret not, there are items to help even the odds should you pick them up. You can freeze things, toss a large boulder at them, maybe even fire a missile or emit a shockwave to knock them back. But the one I both love and hate is the claw. It just grabs the unfortunate player and pulls them back, that's it, but in a game like this, that practically means death. I swear to God, it's almost guaranteed most of the time. The only major issue I had with multiplayer is that the game crashed on me twice, and it was always after picking a stage I noticed. I played about 20 matches total. It's rather alarming to think that my game has a 10% chance of crapping out on me if it is the game's fault and not my computer. Here's wishing that's looked at and fixed immediately if it's not just me. I guess the only other problem I have is that this game only has one song for stages. There's nothing wrong with the tune, I actually really like it, but some other choices would have been nice, and maybe that's what they're working on for the final release whenever that happens. When everything's placed on the table, I think Speedrunners is worth the $9.99 solely on the multiplayer. I'd love to see those issues I mentioned ironed out, but Speedrunners, at its current state, feels more complete than incomplete, thank goodness. Early access games are kind of hard to sell really, just from the status alone. It gives you the vibe that you're about to indulge in a half-hearted meal, even when that's not entirely the case with this game. Again, I don't think single player is what you should be playing this game for. Early access can be a stigma, no doubt. You're always taking a chance by heading into something you're only familiar with because of how much you like the trailer. But on the other hand, people, including yours truly, are willing to shell out money for games that are not even out yet, like Kickstarter projects. Is it really any different in that case? Take it from me. Speedrunners is looking to score the gold medal. And if you're not entirely sold, try the demo out. That don't cost nothing. While you're thinking about that, let's take a look at that straw poll. Yeah, that's what I thought. And now for a curveball. Shovel Knight and AVGN Adventures were games I was already going to look at for the showcase. So let's just remove those two there and look at that. The top 3 games are Skullgirls, Terraria, and Octodad. Okay then, we have our games. But why don't we make another straw poll and add another top 3 picks for the showcase? I'm obviously going to remove the already selected winners, so that leaves us with 15 other games to choose from. And because I got asked this a lot, Shantae's in the showcase too, guys. She was another one I was going to look at regardless of votes. And now let us begin with the viewers' choices. So next week, I shall see you all for Shovel Knight. Thank you for watching, have yourselves a great night, and take care.
Thematically, I think it would make more sense. The boss fight should be the ultimate challenge of that stage, an amalgamation of what you've faced and using the knowledge you've gained throughout the level to kick the boss's balls in.
I can see what you're getting at, and it's true that these bosses often have nothing to do with what their level entailed. That said, I didn't mind the discrepancy either. Maybe I played too much Castlevania or Mega Man, but when I see the boss, my immediate thought isn't how the fight will thematically test me. I just want to do what I can to destroy it. Honestly, if I were to knock the boss fights on anything, it would be that some have no immediately identifiable pattern. Plague Knight? I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to properly avoid his attacks without relying on the phase locket. In fact, the phase locket will be your best friend if your dexterity isn't up to snuff.
Do you think I'm expecting too much?
Not at all. You have your tastes and I have mine.
I mean, I'm not trying to be harsh or shit on the game. It's just that I think there are things that could potentially be improved for a sequel. They aren't game-breaking as is, I just think there's room for improvement.
And I think a sequel is a certain possibility. And it's not to say we should just ignore what Shovel Knight has to offer now. There's some free DLC coming later down the road, one involving a campaign with Plague Knight. You see, his boss fight was so notorious they made him a main character for his own story.
Or it could be the bendy straw.
Yeah, it could be the bendy straw. The PlayStation 4 version contains a special boss battle with everyone's favorite ghostly white angry Spartan, Kratos from the God of War series. Defeating him nets you exclusive armor that lets you use the Blades of Chaos as a weapon. It's a cool incentive for getting it on the PS4, especially if you don't own Shovel Knight at this point. Now what about the Xbox One version?
Dude, the Battletoad stuff is rad as fuck. Once you found them, you get to battle them, and I was wondering how this would all play out, and why Shovel Knight needed to fight the Battletoads. Turns out the Battletoads are just testing Shovel Knight, and it's not a standard boss battle either. You fight them in Battletoads-themed stages. One is from the Battletoad stage where you have to rappel down a long shaft. On the way down, you fight Zits while avoiding other enemies, including propeller rats, who now have scissors to cut your rope. The second is a recreation of the Turbo Tunnel, the stage Battletoads is notorious for.
Fuck, I hated that shit.
The last fight is just set up like a standard boss battle, but now you have to fight Rash while the other Toads randomly attack you. It's all pretty fucking cool, and they put way more into the Battletoads content than I would have ever thought they would. Anyway, when it's all said and done and you've beaten them, they give you the option to equip a new green armor that lets you do Battletoad-style attacks, and also, my favorite part, it allows you to run way faster.
Well shit, the Battletoad stuff sounds way better than the Kratos fight. The games are fucking bullshit, but those extras sound neat. I may just have to pick that up.
You'd buy the game again?
Dude, I got like fucking 17 copies of Sonic 1. That's nothing new to me.
Dude, the weather's gotten really nice lately. Why don't you try getting out of the house for a change? Go get some fresh air, maybe go for a bike ride.
Dude, I'm playing Shovel Knight in 3DS. Plug your channel and get the hell out.
If you've all enjoyed the sound of my sultry voice and would like to check out the videos and reviews I make over at my channel, click the subscribe button over here. I also have my own video on Shovel Knight I did recently for a new series called Subjectives, which you can watch by clicking here. And if you didn't like hearing me talk for half of this video, my bad. Thanks, everybody.
Repetitious combos that prevents you from doing anything to counter. The game has this infinite prevention system specifically to counter this sort of issue, but because it's also so lax on what it considers an actual infinite, clever players can just get around this by switching from one combo to the next, and I'm not dedicated enough to learn infinites for myself to prevent that from happening. I don't think deeply skilled matches should be determined by who can perform the first infinite. At the same time, I guess it requires a great deal of skill to even perform one. I don't know. Infinite battles sound a little shallow on paper. It's probably only a big deal in the tournament scene, though. If you're just looking for a solid 2D fighter that looks nice, sounds great, and want to challenge your friends in fan service-filled slobber knockers when you're not in the mood for Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom, you can't go wrong with Skullgirls, but wait until the second Encore release later this year. Firstly, as of now, you only have 8 characters to choose from, a paltry amount compared to other fighters. 3 of the 4 available DLC characters are $5 a piece, and as of this review, the character Beowulf is free for Steam players. There's also a $5 DLC for additional color palettes. Look, you know how this works with fighting games. Unless you're truly dedicated to it, you're better off just waiting for the re-release. I would, but a lot of you wanted to know what I thought of it now, so spending a total of $35 on this is your fault. I'm kidding. Skullgirls is an absolutely fine fighter. I wish there was a little more to it, but what it delivers is alright as is. Now, the next review I'm working on is for Terraria, but that won't be going up by next week. I'm taking a small break for MomoCon 2015. If you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area from May 28th to the 31st and haven't bought your passes yet, what are you doing? I'm going to be there for the whole event along with my Brain Scratch crew and my live stream co-host Nathan. We're going to have a panel, a charity live stream, an autograph session. It's going to be a blast, and I hope to see you guys there. And then when I get back, I'm going to kick my feet up and relax with Terraria. In the meantime, thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.